Hey guys, what's going on? Sadiq. Welcome to Experiences with Sadiq. Experiences with Sadiq is about all things real estate. A show where communication is key, advocating for the people's bliss, and knowledge, it's inspiring. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the show. And oh yeah, don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms. Whether you're buying or selling a home, I'm that guy. Let's go. What's going on, guys, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man Sadiq Davies. Welcome to Experiences with Sadiq, where communication is key, advocating for the people's bliss and knowledge. It's inspiring. Today we have the time and the moment to talk to actual real estate developer out here in Rhode Island. His name is Walter King. I've been following this guy for some time because this guy builds beautiful homes in Rhode Island. And I actually wanted to sit down and talk to him to get his insight in regards to what it goes or what it entails in becoming a real estate developer. So ladies and gentlemen, I have Walter King from Walter King Enterprises. Walter, welcome to Experiences with Sadiq, my man.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Nah, you're welcome. If you don't mind, Walter, if you just talk to the people, introduce yourself, and let the people know exactly what you do. Go ahead.
All right. I'm a local-based real estate developer, investor, in landlord, own a lot of rental property, and also do hard money lending.
Nice.
So I make money on every single avenue of real estate that I possibly can, from wholesaling to rental property to hard money lending to developing to flipping. You name it, I do it.
Wow, that's crazy. So a lot of people don't understand what entails in regards to becoming a real estate developer or an investor as a whole. And there's people that's looking to get into the industry. There's people that wants to invest their money. They just don't know how to start. So you're someone who's been doing this for some time. So I want you to talk and explain to the people how they should begin as a real estate developer or real estate investor. Go ahead.
Well, one of the biggest misconceptions I see with real estate is some people think you can get into real estate without any capital. They got a lot of guys online, they're selling seminars, and they say you can get into flipping houses with zero money. You need some money down. You need something to get into the game. You can do double closings and you can flip foreclosures without money, but those are very limited. But in order to get into real estate developing, you're going to need some capital and maybe in some cases long-term capital. You know, you might need $10,000, $15,000, $50,000 to have it tied up for a year or so with no return on that. So that's one of the first things. You have to be in the right position to do it. I didn't start building new construction homes until 10 years in the game, you know, when I put myself in a position where I could actually do that. But in the beginning, I started out with just flipping houses, flipping foreclosures, double closings, and locating investors for people that were looking for, hard money or looking for financing. I make a few dollars off that, in that way.
Nice. How did you start? Did you start with hard money, or can you explain how you actually started yourself in more of a detail?
I started out in real estate about 10 years ago. Well, I always bought and sold a house here and a house there, but I got heavy into real estate about 10 years ago. Somebody brought a deal to me, and it was 19 units in Pawtucket condominiums, and the deal was too good to pass up. So I purchased that 19 units, and ever since then, I said, this is where I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay in real estate. Before that, I've owned a car dealership. I've owned a nightclub. I've had various businesses.
Nice. But do you think so you believe that real estate is a prominent industry, a prominent business, that if somebody who's looking to make some form of capital, or I guess, quote unquote, get rich quick, it's that platform to go into or that industry to go into?
Absolutely. I feel like real estate will give you as much as you give it. If you get up every day and you work and you look for those deals and you chase down those deals, eventually you're going to get a check. One of the biggest misconceptions is I see a lot of, one of the biggest problems I see with people is they'll get up, they'll look at a house, this deal will fall through, that deal will fall through, they get discouraged. This is not for me. I'm not going to make any money. I touch between 25 and 30 houses before I make $1 off of one.
Damn. Damn,
I got
wow.
to drive from house to house, go in these houses, look around, go to the outside, open up the septics, anything I can possibly do to do my due diligence on these properties. But I try to look at at least 3 or 4 properties every single day.
Oh man, that's crazy. How many properties do you
And
flip
I don't.
right now?
Right now, I'm actually in one of my flip properties right now. I'm actually cleaning it. I'm putting it on the market tomorrow. I have 4 contracts pending, 5 contracts pending right now.
Oh man, yo, busy guys. The homes that you be putting up on your Instagram platform, like it's crazy. You do a really great job with these homes, man. Like I don't know how you go about finding like the right contractors or whatnot to help you like build such beautiful homes. How difficult is it finding the right contractors to help you build the type of homes that you're building right now?
Well, you got to be really careful because the wrong contractor will definitely suck the life out of a job. If you get taken by a contractor, you could potentially lose all your profit right there. So a lot of these contractors specialize in getting ahead of the job, meaning, there's you owe them $5,000, but there's actually $20,000 worth of work left to do. And these guys are good at grabbing checks. I need a check. So you need to sit down with any contractor that you hire and say, this is what you're going to do, and this is what I'm going to pay you from this point on and that point on. And, when we get to this point, I'll cut you this much. And you have to stand your ground with these contractors. And if things are not going right, you gotta cut them off and, figure out a way out fast and move in another direction.
Interesting, because I've heard stories where like contractors they could demolish like a deal. Like
Contractor can kill you. A contractor can leave a lien on your house that you have nothing to do with. A contractor can kill you. You gotta come up with a contract with them, and you gotta stick to your guns, and you gotta be sure of yourself. You gotta know what you're talking about because a lot of times these guys will be jammed up in another place and they'll need money. And I've seen it all. I was in a spot with a plumber, and I paid him a good part of the payment to finish the house, and he went to jail for driving on a suspended license. So it was like, what am I going to do now? I only owe this guy $5,000, but he's got about $15,000 worth of work to do. So I had to go bail him out of jail.
Man, that's the things that you have to do as a developer. It's crazy. What are things to look out for as a developer besides just the contractor side of things? Are there other crazy things that other like people that looking to get into the game should look out for as well? So just so they can be aware and have knowledge from your experience and your expertise in regards to other things that they should be aware of.
I'm going to say one of your biggest assets in real estate is finding yourself a good real estate attorney, someone that you can trust and someone that's honest and, someone that has notoriety. People know him. You're going to need a good attorney because you could be out here and you could buy a piece of land off somebody when they don't even own that land. And I've seen it happen. So a good attorney will catch things like that. They'll protect you and stuff like that.
Oh man, that's crazy. Explain, if you don't mind, explain the negative side of development and the positive side of a development, and the type of joy that it brings you, yourself as a developer, and the type of joy that will bring future developers also.
Well, the negative side is, there are plenty of negatives. You could lose money on a deal. You could build a new construction home and find yourself in a situation where you can't sell it. You have to rent it, which is, the worst thing any developer wants to do. We don't want to sell. We don't want to rent new construction homes. There's a million variables. I had a house that broken into once a week, and they just kept ripping the pipes out. There's a million. You can imagine some of the negatives. When you put a foundation in and the city comes down and says, "Hey, this foundation is off by 2 feet, tear it out," $25,000 right there. So then you look to the guy that put the foundation in, and the guy that put the foundation in says, "No, the excavator, the guy that dug the hole, it's on him." And then the excavator says, "No, it's on the architect. The architect placed the house wrong inside the site map." So, you just really, really have to do your due diligence every single step of the way. If you think that you're going to come and build a house and you're going to work your full-time job every day and stop building houses. It's just not the case.
So you just explained something just a quick second ago in regards to like the whole foundation issue, right? How you explain it. How would you go about getting out of that situation to mitigate the issue?
Well, you want to find who's really at fault, you know. But at the end of the day, it's really your fault because you should have been on these guys. You should have been out there with a yardstick and a tape measure, and you should have been measuring, you know, the foundation from the setbacks, from the spikes in the ground that the land surveyor placed. So it's at the end of the day, you know, you are responsible to do that before you go to that next step, which is actually pour the foundation, stop building the house. But you can, you know, backtrack and say, you know, this step was skipped here. This guy should have double checked. I actually pay an extra $600 on all my land surveys for my land surveyor to come out and measure the footings. The footings are the boxes they put in the ground before they stop pouring the cement for the bottom of the basement. And I pay the land surveyor to come out and measure just to make sure that the cement guys place them in the right place, because, you know, these guys are really rough around the edges. They're brutes. They you know, they kind of put them wherever they, you know, they measure quick and they slap them in there and they go. And that's a big commitment to stop pouring cement into the ground, because, you know, that's the foundation for the home. That's where the home is going to be. So
now, is there a certain type of measurement in terms of, I guess, thickness of the foundation that the house has to sit on just to be stable?
10 inches is code in Rhode Island. A lot of architects put 12-inch walls, but you can get away with doing 10 inches. So yeah, you need a 10-inch wall all the way around. Depending on the city, you have your setbacks, which is how far your house has to be from the street, how far your house has to be from the property line on the side and the back.
Interesting.
And that's another really, really big obstacle within building, because, you know, I think Rhode Island is for a 2-family, 3,500 square feet you need for building, but you can go for a variance, and you can maybe put a 2-family on a lot that doesn't have the proper square footage for a 2-family if the city approves of it. You know, that's where a lot of these guys are making money right now. They're grabbing lots, 3,200 square feet, and they're putting 2-family homes on them.
No, it's crazy. Now, like, these are inspectors that come out. How strict are they with developers like yourself in terms of making sure things get done right?
They are strict. So Rhode Island, we have a new building inspector in Rhode Island, and he's tough. And when I say he's tough, I don't mean he's unreasonable. I just mean he wants everything up to code. Because in case you haven't noticed, we've had a building surge, you know, all over the country, and people are building houses like crazy. And the more houses they get built, the standard gets lower every time. I'm seeing guys do houses that are just, you can drive by them and you can see that they're not code, just from the street. So we do have a new, I guess there was some corruption in the building department here in Rhode Island. So we do have a new building official, and he's strict, which I admire. I think it's a good thing, because it's going to weed out a lot of the people that have no business doing this.
Now, let me ask, are you a GC yourself?
I'm not a GC.
Do you have so you're more of a developer and investment. So would you hire a GC to manage the properties, or do you do that all on your own?
Well, I do GC jobs. That's what I do, but I just don't have a general contractor's license. I have a general contractor that works full time for me, but I just don't have the actual license, because you don't need a contractor's license to pull permits in some cities. In Rhode Island, if you're going to do it, in Providence, if you're going to do a 2-family, you need a contractor's license. My contractor that works for me, I use his license. Or if it's a 1-family, you don't need a homeowner convey. And I'm the owner, so I can pull the permit myself for the building.
Interesting. Where do you see the future of development and everything from here on out?
Well, you know, with this whole Corona thing, it's tough to tell, because real estate seems to be the only thing that hasn't been affected so far. Banks and lending, there's a shortage of houses on the market in Rhode Island right now. I'm seeing things sell faster than ever for more money than I've ever seen. So I'm hoping that it stays strong, but you do have to position yourself for a fall, for 2008. If that happens, and if it does, I think I'm ready for it, but I know a lot of people are not.
So let's
when you see a guy building, when you see a guy building 10 new houses, or 6, 7 houses or 37 houses, he's going to get slammed if he can't sell those houses for his projected sale price.
Nice. That's a good point that you brought up, because I was literally about to ask you, how would someone fall if things turn for the negative in real estate? Because right now things are really, really good. Like you say, homes are being sold. Like I'm new to the industry. I've been in the game for going on 2 years now, and I've heard from other like loan officers or realtors that's been in the game for like eons, right? And they say like the way houses are selling right now, it's so crazy. Like I try to call agents myself to get my clients to see a certain property. Immediately, once that property goes on the market, it's sold. They say houses are selling faster than they ever sold in ever. It's crazy.
Are you based out of Rhode Island?
Yeah, I'm based out of Rhode Island.
Okay, so the issue is we have a shortage of houses on the market in Rhode Island, and it used to be multifamilies. Right now, it's across the board. We've got a shortage of single families, multifamilies, you name it. So that's the incentive for all the new construction. So everybody's doing new construction because there are just no houses to sell. So we'll build some houses. If you're an experienced builder and you know what you're doing, you can have a house up in 4 months. I can build a house faster than some people can flip houses.
Oh man!
So, and new construction always sells faster. Everybody wants a new house.
Of course, there's nothing that they really have to do, because everything is new for them. Everything's new. But even at new construction, the price points on a lot of the new construction homes itself are like pretty up there. So like a lot of the buyers that's in the market right now, they have to be willing to be able to put in a strong offer. And in general, just not even just new construction, just a really nice home, a buyer has to have the mindset like, listen, in the times that we're in right now, where there's so much buyers in the pool, like it's crazy. There's so much buyers in the pool that if you're not putting the right offer in, you're gonna get knocked out. Like I'm going through it right now with a bunch of my buyers. Like I'm telling them, like, listen, this is not a market right now. There's a market where, like, if you really see a home that you like, you need to put that offer in. If not, forget it, because this is not the time for you. And matter of fact, I want to say the time for you, because obviously there's a home for everybody, but you just have to you have to prepare yourself to know that, listen, if I really want this house, I'm going to have to really put in a really decent offer. What would you tell buyers?
I've heard people.
Go ahead. What you heard? What?
I've heard people say that this is a buyer's and seller's market. Usually say it's a buyer's market. Usually people say it's a seller's market. But I've heard people say it's a buyer's and seller's market because, a lot of these new construction homes, a lot of these guys are in a position where they have to sell them fast. The last 3 houses that I put on the market, I got a minimum of over 10,000 asking on every house. One house I got over 16,000 over asking, and that was a new construction home, and that was on the market for 2 weeks before I started to get offers. I put a house on the market in Pawtucket 2 months ago. It was a duplex. We had over 100 showings on the first weekend.
Oh man!
It was like a nightclub. It just didn't make any sense. Over 100. My agent stopped taking names and said, "Listen, just come down. We'll be in there. Just come down." Her husband had to direct traffic. It was a dead end street. It was insane. And needless to say, we did all right because I'm not the guy to say to go with highest and best, go with highest and best. If I like the client and I feel like we got a good chemistry and we're going to work together, then I'll just say, listen, I accept the offer. I tell my agent, close off all the other deals. Let's just move forward. So,
can I ask you about greed? Do you think developers can get greedy in this industry?
Absolutely. You can get greedy in any business. Absolutely. True. Developers can get greedy. But you see, a developer, anybody that's semi-experienced, they're going to build the house. They're going to build the best house they can build for the cheapest amount of money. So they have their margin. So regardless whether they put it on say they build a house for $250,000 and they put it on for $400,000, they're not going to get the 400 if it's not worth it. they got to come down, they'll come down. But so what I've been seeing right now is a lot of people putting houses on the market, and the appraisers killing the deals because the houses don't appraise at the asking.
Interesting. I didn't ever really.
So I've had a few friends reach out to me for appraisals for properties that I've sold previously in certain areas that were close to the house that they're selling, so they can send the bank my appraisal. Because the appraiser that the bank hired, the property didn't appraise out, so the appraisers kind of seem like they hit a plateau where they're not going to go any higher. But the people selling the houses, somebody gets in the air, whether it be a real estate agent or the developer, somebody's telling them, hey, you can get this much for the house, but the appraisers are not going for it. Appraisers seem to be tend to be a little more conservative than other people. They have a lot of things to take into consideration when appraising.
So even if a developer wants to maximize top dollar for the property, at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to appraiser deciding what the property is worth, no matter how you look at it.
That's right. I mean, unless your buyer is paying cash, then it's nobody's business. But if you're going to a bank, the bank's going to order an appraiser. The house has to appraise out. So if it doesn't appraise for the asking, the banks are not going to lend. Banks are not going to allow you to put them in a position that they're going to owe. You're going to owe them $250,000 on a house that's only worth $225,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely.
So that's a real scenario that's happening right now.
Oh man, that's crazy. Walter, if you don't mind, for those who are looking to get into the into the development investment side of the real estate, let them know how they can get a hold of you. Actually, before you let them know how to get a hold of you, just so they could get some advice from you. What's your goal from here on out with development or investment? And then you can go into sharing your contact info in case there's anybody who's looking to gain some more knowledge from you.
I'm looking to buy land. So if anybody comes across any land and they want to wholesale it or make a few dollars, I'm looking for land. I'm looking to build, continue to do what I've been doing. I do a lot of wholesaling. I think I'm gonna always wholesale. To me, wholesaling is where it is. And I'm gonna continue to build.
Nice. How can someone get a hold of you if they want gain some knowledge from you and talk to you a little bit?
You can hit me up on Instagram at property_plug. And my email is kingscarpet@aol.com.
Nice. You guys hear from the man Walter King himself from Walter King Enterprises. You guys know what it is. It's your man Sadiq Davies from Experiences with Sadiq. You guys know communication is always key. Advocating for the people's always bliss, and knowledge, it's inspiring. Talk to you guys soon. Enjoy. And Walter, thank you very much. I appreciate you, my man.
Thank you, man.